Hi, my name is Nora Spangler and I'm with Stellar Realty Northwest here in Bend, Oregon. Today I am going to be remaking a video that I made almost 3 years ago, which was the pros and cons of living in Bend, Oregon. So let's take a look and see what has changed in the past 3 years. Is Bend still the super popular place it was back before the pandemic? Well, evidently so, because the population growth has been between 2 and 3% for the past few years. Bend is definitely growing. And because it's growing, that means people are moving here from other areas of the country or even the world. I had some clients move here from Spain. So people are finding out about Bend and they are moving here. So what is it about Bend that attracts people? Let's start with number 1, which is the outdoor lifestyle. Bend and all of Central Oregon is an outdoor mecca. You have rivers, lakes, Mount Bachelor if you're a downhill skier, plenty of trails for snowshoeing and cross-country skiing as well. We've got Smith Rock for rock climbers, which is just about 45 minutes north of Bend. If you like to be on the water, paddling, kayaking, floating the river, all those activities are so close. That's the reason people move here, is because they don't have to drive several hours to go float the river or paddle. You can pretty much, maybe have a 5 or 10, maybe 15-minute drive, depending where you live. Put your equipment in your car, take off, and you are on the water or on a trail very quickly. No matter where you live in Bend, you don't have to live right next to the trailhead to have great accessibility. That's the number 1 reason people are moving here to Central Oregon. Pro number 2, slower pace of life. Well, even 3 years later, and we've grown a lot, I still feel like this is true, especially if you're coming from a place like Seattle or Portland or San Francisco or San Diego. The pace of life in Bend is going to feel extremely slow, but you get into that vibe and before you know it, you're not driving 65 on the highway anymore, which you shouldn't because the speed limit is 45 miles an hour. If you're watching this video, I assume you're curious about Bend, Oregon. So would you drop a comment down below? Let me know where you currently live, why you're thinking about making a move to Bend. Topic number 3, the weather. This really can be a pro or a con depending what you want and where you're coming from. If you're coming from the East Coast where you have horrific winters, then our winters are going to seem rather mild to you. If you're coming from sunny San Diego, the winters here might seem a little intense. I moved from the Seattle area about 8 years ago, and I was looking forward to the sunshine and warmer temperatures in the summer, less rain. All those things I got here living in Bend. I will admit, the winters are a little challenging for me, although I am getting out and going snowshoeing this weekend and I'm excited about that. So it really depends on your mindset. We do get cold in the winter. We do get snow, about 32 inches average. It doesn't always snow in town though, so often you'll have very little snow to deal with in town, but you have plenty of snow on the mountain to enjoy. So just know if you're thinking of moving here, you're going to have all 4 seasons. No, winter does not last 6 to 9 months like I have seen people write or say. It doesn't. Our summers are very dry and they can get quite hot. We do have, maybe a few weeks of 90-degree days and even up to 100, or I think 107 is our all-time high temperature in Bend. So it does get hot, but it cools off at night. Our nights are really cool, like 40, 50 degrees maximum. So you may need AC, but just open your windows, turn a fan on, and you're probably good most of the time. I'm going to stop here for just a moment and ask you to give this video a thumbs up, like it, and hit that subscribe button. That helps me reach more people with videos about living in Bend, moving to Bend. Topic number 4, I said that Bend just has a kind of a cool community vibe to it, that it's kind of hard to describe until you come and you live here. It's not necessarily something you're going to pick up on when you're just visiting. But once you move here and you're driving and you're shopping and you're doing all your daily activities, what I have found is still true today, 3 years later, is that there is a friendliness and a willingness to help. And there's still a small town vibe that I have never felt anywhere I lived before. And I lived in Seattle and Portland, so in much larger cities, and I never felt very connected to the people in my community. So in Bend, there are many, many ways you can get connected, feel connected, and I don't know, it's just a cool vibe. Most of the people who live here either have lived here for a long time and love it and they're staying put, or they've moved here from somewhere else and they've made the choice to be here, and so they love it. So, hey, it's a place full of people who really like where they live, and that creates a great community vibe. Topic number 5 is the cost of living. I can definitely put this one on the con list. If you've investigated Bend, Oregon at all, you know that our housing costs are very expensive compared to the wages that you can earn. Our average salaries range, depending what information you look at, between the $60,000 to $80,000 range. And that may sound like a lot to you, or it may not. But when our housing costs, our median single family home in Bend is now or still above $700,000. So Bend is not really considered an affordable housing market. And if you're curious about rents in Bend, well, apartments and homes to rent are pretty hard to find. If you can find one, an average 2-bedroom apartment is probably going to be at least $1,800 a month, unless you find a bargain somewhere. And to rent a home, you're probably going to be paying $2,500 to $2,800 depending what side of town. It could be more than that if you want to be on the cool side of town, the west side, close to the trailhead and closer to the mountain. So it's a pretty expensive place to live. If you're talking about the wider area of Deschutes County, our median home price there is more in the $600,000 range. So if you don't have to live in the city of Bend proper, yes, you can probably find a home that's less expensive, but still it's going to consume a very large chunk of that take-home income. Topic number 6, restaurants and food. I'm not a foodie. If you consider yourself a high-class foodie and you're from an area that has really great, 5-star restaurants, you may not think our food in Bend is all that great. I don't really know how to tackle this topic other than to say that I'm not a foodie. I love the food in Bend. There is really great food all around. Now, maybe not in every ethnic category. You might say, well, LA has better tacos or New York has better pizza. But I have found some great tacos and pizza here in Bend. And what I love is that we always have new entrepreneurs coming. Like recently, there's a new food truck called Masa Empanadas. It's a guy from Argentina, and he makes vegetarian and vegan handmade empanadas and sells them from a food truck at a coffee place called Spoken Moto. We're just always getting new food trucks, new restaurants. They come and some of them go if they don't, work out that well, but there's no shortage of new places to check out. Topic number 7 is racial or political diversity here in Bend. I get asked about this occasionally, not too much, but what can I say? Bend is a very white town. We are, depending what stat you look at, 85 to 90% folks that look just like me, white. I can't get around that for you. Everyone is welcome. Hey, if you've had a bad experience, tell me about it. Bend is definitely not perfect. We are a town of imperfect people, just like every other city. So if you have an expectation that Bend is going to be somehow perfect, you're wrong, and maybe you shouldn't move here. But if you're open and you want to meet different people, then hey, I think Bend is a great place, and I don't think it's overall is racist or close-minded. We are getting more and more politically blue, I will say, Democratic. The more rural areas tend to be more Republican. But our government, our city government, is looking more liberal lately. Topic number 8 is schools. I don't get asked about this too much. Most of the time when a family decides they're going to move here, they've already investigated the school options, or a lot of them choose to homeschool their kids. And that is a big thing here in Oregon. It has been for a long time. So you can consider homeschooling your kids if you don't like the public options. There are lots of public school options. If you do choose to buy a home in Bend, then you are going to be assigned a school depending on where that home is. And it can be challenging to get an approval for your kid to go to a different school. So just be aware of that. There are lots of private school options, charter schools, specialty schools that I hear lots of positive comments about. So check out online all of the school websites that evaluate schools, like niche.com, greatschools.com. Check those out and see what you think. We are about 44 in the nation in Oregon as a whole for school ranking. So that's not all that great. I think we're a little better than California, a little less ranked than like Idaho, our neighboring state. So it just depends what you want and the lifestyle you want for you and your family. Here's one extra bonus pro that I can't believe I didn't talk about on my original video. Maybe it's because I'm not a beer drinker, but according to Smart Asset, Bend is the #2 city in the nation for breweries per capita. Bend has a great mix of small breweries, large ones like Deschutes Brewing, many not only breweries, we have a couple cideries, and if you're into hard alcohol, we have several new distilleries as well that you can go visit and do tastings. So hey, Bend is a beer lover's paradise. So if you're a beer lover, Bend is definitely a good choice for you, and you should put it on your list. Come check us out. So wrapping it up, I moved here almost 8 years ago and I still love it here. Has it changed? Yes, Bend has changed a lot. It's growing a lot and it is going to keep growing. So if you're not into a town that is growing, lively, constantly getting new businesses and new restaurants and new places for you to check out, then don't move here. But if you want that exciting entrepreneurial environment and you want to live right next to rivers, mountains, lakes, have easy accessibility to get out and enjoy the outdoors, then Bend would be a great choice for you. So you should come check us out. And if you need a realtor, contact me. All my contact is below. Like, comment, give me some love on this video, and I hope to see you again here next week.